Once there was a kingdom surrounded by wide fields, long roads, and hard-working people. The king of that land was known not for his power, but for his wisdom. He believed that the true strength of a nation was not built by walls, weapons, or wealth, but by the mindset of its people. He often said that a nation rises when its people learn how to face difficulties instead of running away from them. The king had 3 sons. They were intelligent, educated, and brave, but the king felt something was missing. They knew how to read books and command soldiers, but they had never truly understood responsibility. The king wanted to teach them a lesson that no book, teacher, or advisor could ever explain properly. He wanted them to see life as it truly was. One quiet morning, the king called his guards and gave them a strange order. He said, "Place a massive stone in the middle of the busiest road of our kingdom. Make sure it blocks the way completely, then leave it there and do nothing." The guards were confused, but they obeyed without question. After the stone was placed, the king took his sons to the top of a high tower from where the entire road could be seen clearly. The king said nothing. He only asked his sons to watch carefully and remember everything they saw. Soon the road began to fill with people. The first to arrive were wealthy merchants riding in decorated carriages. When their wheels struck the stone, they stopped suddenly. The merchants looked at the obstacle with anger and pride. One of them shouted that the king was careless. Another complained about the poor condition of the roads. They argued loudly, blamed the system, and cursed their fate. Not one of them stepped down from the carriage to touch the stone. After wasting time in anger, they turned back and chose another route. Next came government officials walking with authority and confidence. When they saw the stone, they frowned. One said it was not their job. Another said the road department should handle it. They discussed rules, responsibilities, and procedures, but none of them tried to move the stone. Slowly they walked away, leaving the obstacle behind. Then came scholars and priests. They stopped, looked at the stone, and began discussing its meaning. Some said it was a test from God. Others said it was a sign of destiny. They prayed, spoke wise words, and continued their journey without touching the stone. Their knowledge was deep, but their actions were empty. A strong soldier arrived next. He was loyal and disciplined. Seeing the stone, he immediately thought of danger. He believed it could harm travelers. Without hesitation, he decided to report the matter to the king. He rode away quickly, trusting that someone else would handle the problem. From the tower, the king's sons watched everything carefully. They noticed a pattern. Everyone saw the problem. Everyone had an excuse. Everyone expected someone else to solve it. As the day passed, the sun began to sink. The road grew quieter. Just when it seemed no one would take responsibility, a poor farmer approached the stone. He was old and tired. His clothes were torn, his hands rough from years of labor. A heavy sack rested on his shoulders and sweat ran down his face. When he reached the stone, he stopped. He looked at it for a long moment. He could have turned back like the others. He could have blamed the king, fate, or God, but instead, he placed his sack on the ground and took a deep breath. He thought to himself that if this stone remained, many people would suffer tomorrow. Carts would break, animals would be injured, and travelers would be forced to turn back. He knew the king could not watch every road every day. He believed that responsibility did not belong to one person alone. It belonged to everyone. With slow steps, the farmer moved closer to the stone. He placed both hands against it and began to push. The stone was heavy. His muscles ached. His breath became heavy. His legs trembled. Several times he almost gave up. But each time he reminded himself why he started. He pushed again and again. His hand slipped. His back burned with pain. Still, he did not stop. Finally, with one last effort, the stone rolled to the side of the road. The farmer collapsed on the ground, exhausted. As he caught his breath, his eyes noticed something shining beneath where the stone had been. Curious, he stood up and looked closely. There was a small pouch buried in the dirt. He opened it slowly and gasped. Inside were gold coins shining brightly in the fading sunlight. Before he could understand what was happening, the king and his sons appeared before him. The king smiled and said, "These coins belong to you. You are the only one who chose action over excuses. You did not complain, pray, or wait. You understood your responsibility." The king turned to his sons and said, "Remember this moment for the rest of your lives. Obstacles are not placed in our path to stop us. They are placed to reveal who we truly are. The same obstacle was faced by everyone, but only one man gained the reward. The sons stood silently. Their hearts were heavy with realization. They understood that strength was not about position, wealth, or knowledge. It was about courage, responsibility, and action. In life, every person faces obstacles. Some complain, some blame others, some wait for help. But those who move the obstacle, even when it is difficult, discover opportunities hidden beneath it. Challenges are not enemies. They are teachers, and those who learn from them are the ones who truly move forward. If we want growth in our lives, we must stop asking why problems exist and start asking what we can do about them. Because the road to success is built by those who choose action when others choose excuses, the king continued. If the wealthy had stepped down from their chariots, they would have learned humility. If the scholars had acted instead of speaking, they would have learned wisdom. If the soldier had taken responsibility instead of passing it forward, he would have learned leadership. But only you understood that responsibility does not wait for permission. The sons felt a deep silence within themselves. They realized that leadership was not about commanding others, but about acting when no one else does. They understood that the greatest change does not begin in palaces, but on ordinary roads through ordinary people, making extraordinary choices. The farmer asked softly, "My king, why did you hide gold under the stone?" The king replied, "Because rewards are always hidden beneath difficulties. If I had placed the gold openly, everyone would have rushed for it. But only the one who removed the obstacle deserved what lay beneath it." That day the farmer returned home not only richer in wealth but stronger in spirit. He did not boast. He did not change who he was. He continued his work with the same honesty, knowing that he had done what was right. The sons returned to the palace changed forever. From that day on, whenever they faced problems, they remembered the stone on the road. Instead of blaming others, they asked themselves what they could do. Instead of waiting, they acted. Slowly, under their leadership, the kingdom grew stronger. Not because problems disappeared, but because people stopped running from them. In our own lives, we face stones every day. They appear as failures, delays, criticism, and fear. Some people complain. Some pray and wait. Some say it is not their responsibility. But those who choose to push the stone even when it is heavy, discover growth, strength, and opportunity. Obstacles are not meant to stop us. They are meant to shape us. Every challenge asks one simple question: will you walk away or will you act? Those who act build character. Those who walk away remain the same. Remember this always. The path becomes clear only when someone is brave enough to clear it. And the reward is never the stone itself, but what lies beneath it. If you choose responsibility over excuses, action over words, and courage over comfort, no obstacle in life can block your way.